Hello, it's Mr. Tarek. For this assignment, you're going to review the basic proportions of the face, and you're going to be given several options as to how you want to review those proportions, but you need to demonstrate that you know those basic rules and those basic proportions before you start drawing proportions of someone specific in earnest. So again, you'll have three choices for this. I'm just going to go through these choices rather quick. They're all pretty self-explanatory. If you're really having trouble with these, just call me over and I'll help you through them. They're very basic. Again, this is just a review, so the results don't have to be perfect. I just want you to know the basic facial proportions before you start getting into portraits that you actually care about, because this can correct a lot of those basic mistakes you're going to make when you start drawing, like how high the eyes should be or where the proportion of the skull is in relationship to this or that. So your first choice here, real straightforward, is a packet filled with just various references of the human face, like ears, noses, mouths, eyes. And what you can do is you can just draw a fictional made-up face using these parts. If you can display the right proportions, then you're good to go. And this one's kind of the hardest because it has the most creative freedom. You're basically making someone up from scratch. And this packet I provide with human face parts in it has basic guidelines for proportion. It has, guidelines for the orientation of the head. So, you can draw it kind of however you want, but you want to make sure it's representational and make sure all the parts are in the correct order and proportionate to each other. So, again, this one's hard, but it's one of the options. Your second choice is completing like a step-by-step packet, and this sort of walks you through all the basic parts. It's really, really simple. I used this in my design class. You probably did this packet at one point in design. You can do this really straightforward. You can do it on a blank sheet of paper, or I have like a companion worksheet you can practice on. Again, really easy. Shows you step-by-step each and every part and where it goes. Third choice is just reproducing a photograph using measuring and sighting. And essentially what you do is you take your paper and you draw a line down the middle of it, and you just sort of like draw it, one for one on your paper using measuring and sighting. So those of you who didn't get any measuring and sighting on the first semester, this would be a great chance for you to learn how to do that. If you did do this in design, again, this is a project you might have done in design. And for those of you who still want measuring and sighting practice or just want to try this is a great method to use, and it's something you're going to want to use with your portraits if you really want accurate proportions. Because even though all these projects sort of tackle the same thing different ways, everybody's proportions are different. These rules aren't like hard laws. They're sort of just general guidelines for people's faces. Some people's noses may be a little bit higher up than others. It's all variables. So any observational drawing method you've learned before will help you in this unit and will help you with these assignments. So again, I'm just going to walk through all of these. Here's the worksheet. This was the second option. Again, you're just drawing exactly what you see and reading the instructions. Very straightforward. You start out with an oval. Draw a line that's halfway in the oval. That would be your eye line. Draw a line on the bottom. That's your chin line. Yeah, it's all pretty straightforward. Here are some selections from that face packet. So if you want to make this is the first option. If you want to make like a completely fictional face and just use these reference parts to kind of make up some random face, this is what you would use. There's references to show you the general proportions of everything, and then there's very specific kind of photoreal references of various facial parts and how you would draw them. So if you want to try this and make kind of a Frankenstein combination of random parts, you can do this. Again, I only recommend this for the advanced students who just want to get this sort of demonstrated and move on. It's not too easy, but it can be kind of fun if you just sort of play around with it. And the whole goal here is to just get the basic proportions down and the basic face parts down and sort of move on. Here's the last choice. And this is the measuring and sighting one. These are student examples from design. And again, if you already did this project, this is the exact same project. For those of you who haven't done this or want more measuring and sighting practice, you can do this. These are some great student examples. Essentially what you're doing is you're copying that photo one for one, just an outline. You don't have to shade it. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. There's some more student examples. Again, great examples of what to do. and you're just copying that photo one for one. So to start out, what you want is your photo on a sheet of paper next to your other paper, and you are going to copy every single aspect of it. To start out, just draw a line down the middle of your photo. It can be anywhere. It can be dead center. It can be a little off center. It doesn't really matter. And then you're going to line your pencil up with any part of that face. So I measured the distance between the bottom of my photo and the bottom of the man's chin. And so after I got that measurement, I took my pencil and I moved it over to my paper. And actually on my paper, I had the exact same line drawn down the middle of it, and I lined up my pencil with that same measurement and made a mark, however high up the chin was, and then so on and so forth. I can actually demonstrate this method for you. You could ignore the next couple of slides because it's me just sort of walking through how to measure and cite his face and the various parts I would break down if I were drawing it. I'm not going to verbally walk through it, but I can demonstrate this to you if you actually want to do this. And I might attach a video to this lecture here, so look around for that. Otherwise, I can demo this for you. It's pretty straightforward. Again, those are your three choices. You're just doing review, so pick one of them and just show me you can demonstrate the basic proportions of the face, and you're done with this project.